I call the 19th meeting of Rotary Bangalore Cantonment to order. May we observe 1 minute silence for world peace, please. Thank you very much. I wouldn't say a very warm good evening. It's actually a very cold evening out there. Wonderful to have you back. Yes, lovely weather. Great to see you all. But I think the rain is a bit of a dampener. We would have had more attendance if we had physical meetings. People have got used to physical meetings, isn't it? They prefer the samosas and karabats at RHL. I think that's a good idea to get back. So we're going to have a lot more physical meetings. The day picnic, we had close to 50 people attending the picnic, and wonderful to see some people who have never been out in a physical meeting for more than 2 years come out there for the physical meeting. Lovely to see them. And also the golf event are fantastic. I think we had good attendance of people from the volunteers and committee members. Great to see you all. We are privileged to have amongst us a very, very wonderful speaker, a great prominent member from the Tata Trust, Dr. Harish Krishnaswami, former Chief Operating Officer of Tata Trust South Asia. Welcome, Dr. Harish. Lovely to have you with us. Thank you for making time to talk to us. This is one area that we would like to hear a lot from you, because this is an area that as Rotary, we're very wedded to in terms of how we can improve ourselves from that perspective. Lovely to have you amongst us. We also have a few visitors from Rotary Social. Do we have the President Prasad Narasimha here with us? Prasad, are you here? Hey, hi Prasad. Good to see you.
Hi, I'm there. Yeah.
Hey. We also have Samidatta Shivam. Samidatta, are you there? If you can unmute and say hello to us. Okay. Also Sagarika Goshal from Rotary Social also here. Sagarika, are you there? Okay, wonderful. Any other visitors? Do shout out. Great. So let's get on with the rest of the meeting. May I call upon Club Secretary Nanda to make the club announcements?
Well, good evening, everybody. The last month was relatively a quiet month as far as projects were concerned, because I think the Dasara festivities and followed by the Golfity actually took precedence over the projects. And I'm sure now all of us are looking forward to picking up the pace on the projects starting this month. And this month actually commenced with a very well organized annual day picnic on the 1st of November, at which about 50 Rotarians and ANs attended. Then the board held its 5th meeting on Sunday, the 7th of November. The meeting and fellowship and lunch was hosted by Rotarian Sadav Shivshiti and Ann Vidya. Now, as far as birthdays and anniversaries go, Rotarian Sushila Venkatraman celebrates her birthday on the 15th of November. And well, actually, one of the advantages of being the secretary is that you don't get to miss the birthday of your spouse. And Shashikala, my wife, celebrates her birthday tomorrow, the 12th of November. This is actually a good reminder to wish her tomorrow.
That's what I was about to say.
As far as wedding anniversaries being celebrated this week, Enna Sridhar and Indu celebrate their wedding anniversary on the 15th of November as well. Now, wishing all the celebrities of the week the very best of health and happiness in the years to come. Now, as far as programs for the forthcoming week, the Club Services Committee will be having the meeting on Saturday, the 13th November. This will be an online meeting. And from next month, I think they're planning to have physical meetings. The next regular meeting will be held on Thursday, 18th November. And this will again be a physical meeting which will be held at RHL. The agenda for the meeting is the presentation of the Vocational Excellence Award. I request all the members to mark the date and attend the meeting and make it a grand success. Well, that's the announcements for the week. Thank you.
Yeah, next week is the Vocational Excellence Award. We're giving away the Vocational Excellence Award to 2 recipients. This is going to be a physical meeting. Please be there in person at RHL. It'll be wonderful to have you. It'll be great to have a full house at RHL. Hopefully the rains won't spoil the day that day, but I look forward to all of you being there, many of you being there for the Vocational Excellence Award. Also, we may be inducting a new member on that day. So it'll be wonderful to come with your hands for this meeting. Looking forward to good attendance during the meeting. I'd like to move on to the Rotary information talk by our Rotarian Sushila Venkatram. Over to you.
Thank you, Vinod. The topic I've been asked to speak on is the role of the Assistant Governor. You can hear me, Vinod?
Oh, yes, we can hear you. And incidentally, Sushila is the Assistant Governor this year, so it'll be great to hear from you.
Another bunch of clubs, obviously. Yeah, so the primary role of the Assistant Governor is basically to help the District Governor in terms of, one, the management of the clubs that are assigned to the Assistant Governor. And basically, it's administrative. It's assistance in terms of administrative inputs, and also helping in terms of being a sort of a bridge between the clubs and the district governor and the district team. So often there will be questions like, what about this project? Or how do I apply for a global grant? So making sure that the right connects are made and the right kind of collaborations are built. So really that's the fundamental role. So going down a little deeper, it's participating in the events that the club runs from time to time. So you're in touch with the club and really understand what their aspirations are. Helping them to set up their goals so that they know what they are working towards. Looking at what are priorities for RI in a particular year or the district in a particular year, and helping the clubs make that connect, because eventually we are all part of a larger organization. And also helping the governor understand, for example, if a particular club is facing a problem in a particular area, say, let's say they're not able to get enough members or they have a problem of attrition, it's helping them think that through, but also bringing them help from across the district or maybe from other clubs, which will help them to then resolve the issue that they have at hand. So it's really about helping motivate, helping them plan, and helping them to really perform as an exemplary, if you like, Rotary Club. That's the role of the Assistant Governor. In our district, because we have close to over 40 or so Assistant Governors, that is still a large number to be on a constant day-to-day conversation with the District Governor. So we have another layer which is called a zone governor. So that person is playing a coordinating role amongst a set of assistant governors that are allotted to him or her. So that's really how it works. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sushila. That's very informative. I hear you're doing a fantastic job as an assistant governor, and people say you're a pretty toughie.
Good for them.
we all agree.
All right. Thanks, Sushila. May I now invite Rotarian TV Mohan to introduce the speaker for the day. TV?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. It is indeed a great pleasure and honor to introduce someone so accomplished and renowned as Dr. Harish Krishnaswami. Dr. Krishnaswamy was the former Chief Operating Officer of Tata Trust, as President Vinod informed us. He is currently in the Government of India's Steering Committee of the National Foundation for CSR, and also an advisor to a few government bodies on state issues. He is a strategic consultant on dharmic management in Longwealth GmbH, a Vienna-based firm, and has served in a number of board and advisory committees. He has been a governing board member of the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, the director on the board of the Forum for Health Systems Design and Transformation. Dr. Harish is known for rapidly accelerating the organization's growth trajectory through strategic concepts and innovative solutions. One of the flagship projects of Tata Trust for the Honorable Prime Minister, the construction of the 352-bedded Pandit Madan Mohan Mallavya Cancer Hospital in Varanasi, was under his leadership. His other notable recognitions include the International Finance Magazine's award in 2014, the prestigious Dubai Quality Appreciation Award in 2015, and the Leadership Business Excellence Award awarded by the Department of Economic Development in UAE. Dr. Harish is also an in-demand public speaker and panelist in international forums on the topics of organizational excellence, governance, risk management and compliance, inclusive development, corporate social responsibility, financial models, instruments, and policy frameworks. Dr. Harish is passionate about social work and founded the Ojas Trust, which serves as a link between bodies of NGOs and social workers. Some of his key interests are animal welfare, conservancy workers, vulnerable segments, and urban poverty. He resides at Puttaparthi and was a student from the Sri Satya Sai Institute. So without much more ado, dear Rotarians, ANs, and friends, Dr. Harish Krishnaswami for you.
Welcome, Harish. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mohan. In fact, I am really honored, to hear it from you, because I've been with Prashant for some time, and I have seen the depth of, I really wanted to congratulate you before the thing, saying that you have done a fantastic event in the golf, and I can see Prashant was literally like what you were saying, that he was not the same Prashant I knew him, at least before the event and after the event. So really hats off to what you've been doing. And I think it's congratulations to Vinod, of course, the president, and Mohan for you leading the golf. It's been a pleasure to listen to the phone calls of what Prashant was doing behind the scenes. So thank you for that opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. It's a real honor, and my father was in fact a Rotarian, so I have a little bit of thing to it out there. So I'm really honored, and today the topic I've chosen is wedded to a purpose. My own shared experiences. Now that the slot has been given to me for about 20-25 minutes, and I would like to have also a little bit of an interactive session. I'm going to go a little bit jolly because you guys are that. I can understand the beautiful an ambience of the Rotarians setting. So wedded to a purpose. So I can speak about a wedding here with a purpose, because if it was Maldives, it's got the highest divorce rates. So I can't talk about getting wedded to a purpose there, because the divorce rates are very high. So I'm in the safe land of India with a less divorce rate. So I have boldly taken on this this thing, saying that wedded to a purpose. And in fact, being a Hindu myself, I have been intelligent enough not to marry. I mean, not that all because later on you realize your thing, but until then you can stay intelligent. So there are about 7. So when my sister got married, I used to ask her, what is this, this Hinduism? So I'm from my childhood, I've always been asking questions, and I still continue to do till today. So that is why probably they have kept me in all these few panels. So I understood from the priest that there used to be some 7 wedding vows in a Hinduism. And it says, it ultimately comes down to saying, I will take care of you in your life. The husband says this to the wife says, okay, I will also be with you. Similarly, about 2 weeks back, I went to a Christian wedding. And in fact, the good friend of mine was a Stephen Kishore. He's from the, this Coorg area. So he says, he said this, and I vaguely remember it. I, Stephen, take you, his wife's name was Sophia, to be my wife, to have and to hold from this day onward. So he was holding his hand for the better or for the worse. Okay, so for the better or for the worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, all paradox, huh? To love and to cherish, and boss, not only till now, till death us do part, according to God's holy vow, and in the presence of Jesus, in the presence of Mother, I make this vow. So even the Christians have this vow where they Vinod would vaguely remember it, right?
Absolutely, I got through it.
Okay, if your spouse doesn't keep hitting you on these agreements and these clauses, okay. So the same I feel is with everybody of us. And today I feel so honored and pleasant to talk to all these Rotarians, because at some point of time today, when I was listening to Dr. Shushila speaking about what an assistant governor does, I think at the end of the day, what are we all committing ourselves? Every Rotarian, you also take a vow. What do you take a vow? You take a vow that you will provide service to others above all. You will promote integrity. You will probably advance the world understanding, the peace. All those through, of course, through your business and your community life. So you all take a vow. Each one take a vow. So when I say that the chapter says wedded to a purpose, all of us are wedded, have to be wedded to a purpose. And when we are here, some of us only are wedded to a very close range. We look at ourselves, we look at a very closed circle, which is a family. I'm not saying it's wrong, but they look at more their wife, their father, their parents, their children. But there is the next sect of people who actually start looking at a little broader ambience. And that's God's greatest gift, that we are able to look at something called a society, that you as a Rotarian are able to take that wedded, you have a purpose to also provide service to others. So you slightly expand. And that is the beauty of it. And that is where I would like to say that to have such a purpose in life, to serve others itself, that itself is a God's greatest gift. And I would say wedded to a purpose means not to your own individuality, but to something greater than yourself. And what do you do in a marriage when you say wedded to a purpose? There are three basic things I look at. There's one is commitment. You got to give commitment to whatever you do. Then there is this love feeling, right? You got to love. The third is you have to respect. So similarly, I just want to share. In fact, given the telescope time frame I have, I probably would, when Mr. Mohan was speaking about it, I probably will take just a project. See, when we were in Tata Trust and probably in Ojas Trust and in other places, in Tata Trust, probably we had close to about 1,000 plus projects. We had about 700 plus partners, and we were reaching close to about millions of households, because that's what the Jamshedji Tata, when he did it at 1942, it kept on growing from stature to stature at such a level that we were at that point of time, at this point of time, we are the largest philanthropic organization in India. And almost, if you take the portfolios, we had something like 14, 15 portfolios. We had a livelihood portfolio, we had an arts and culture, we had water, sanitation, hygiene, migration, education. Then you had skills development, you had sports, you had environment, you had healthcare, you had institutions. So we were funding, taking care of institutions, sustainability. We were talking about nutrition to the kids, nutrition to the pregnant woman, to the vulnerable segment, disaster relief. We were taking care of South Odisha, those things out there. And in spite of that, we also thought that we have to get all the talented people on board. So we were also taking care of individual grants apart from medical grants. So we were doing close to about 14 to 15 verticals. And there were brilliant projects. Some of the few projects which immediately comes to my mind is something called an Internet Sati, which is a digital literacy program and a livelihood program for all the rural women. We had it with this Google out there. We had about close to at that point of time, our target was to cover about 300,000, and we covered close to about 500,000. Today, it is in the form of a Section 8 company called Friend. We have a separate CEO, and we've got about 20-25 crores seed funding for that, which is about from Google and Tata Trust out there. We have one more program which comes to my mind is called the Lakpati Kisan Scheme, where we took all the farmers, and that was actually the blueprint where the Honorable Prime Minister, launched his project, saying that every farmer should, become a Lakpati scheme. So, we combined horticulture, we combined rearing, sheep rearing, all those things to make that Lakpati scheme. So similarly, when we were speaking, when Mr. Mohan, I think probably I'll take just one thing out there. When I went to the trust, looking at all the projects, we say something that you always have something in your heart which you want to do, in all these goods. Like probably when I looked at Mohan probably has an affinity towards golf or something like that out there. When my father passed away due to cancer, my grandmother passed away due to cancer. And incidentally, when we went, today Hemant Biswa Sarma, who's the chief minister of Assam, was earlier the finance minister, the revenue minister, as well as the health minister. So when we went out there, he just said, boss, why don't you guys do something for us in the Assam? Because we've got about 5 CT scanners. They have roughly about 30 billion there, and 50, just 5 scanners. And the cancer incidence is very, very high. So evening when we went there is a street called a cancer street. And when we were walking there, people were actually, their touts were walking around with, unassuming people. And when we were trying to find out what is this, there were actually people there were selling their lands. For what? To take, it is not even for the cancer care, for paying the logistics, the train tickets, the hotel tickets to go from Assam all the way to TMH, Tata Memorial Hospital in Bombay. So when you go to the TMH in Bombay, you will actually find people sitting in the platforms, in the roads there. It is all these people who are coming there who have just taken this logistics and all this money, giving away their entire thing. See, it's a very crucial thing, because it is between, you have to choose between the living and the to die. Because the person who's going to be at the cancer, unfortunately in India, by the time you diagnose cancer, it is almost in the stage 5, stage 4, where it is very, very critical, and it is all multi-complicated, because the primary and the secondary and it is all solid tumors. Okay, so which means it also has has to have a multiple therapy in hand. So imagine on top of it, you also have a very, very a big burden on the people of the travel. So it is over and above the cost of the cancer care, and the people have to choose whether they have to actually spend it on the person, on the cancer person who probably has very remote or less chance to survive, or if survival is there, also will not become a very potential earning member, or to give away all that on others who are actually the earning members. So it's a very, very tough decision. And when we look at it, we really feel that, we felt, I just cannot even express how we felt. It was such a very bad state. So we just went back, a couple of us from the Tata Trust went back and said, why not we have a distribution model? So there were 2-3 things which came about. One was this telemedicine, and the other thing which came about was, why not we start a distribution model for a cancer care project? So that was the seed in which the distributed model on which we built on the Tata Trust came about. So at the end of the day, it was very relevant to the beneficiary segment, and something which I always had a dream. I always wanted to do something. See, as an individual, you always have some aspirations. And, we always say that we should have a purpose. Sorry, the purpose finds you. When I went that day, it felt as if purpose was telling me, Joker, you are born to do this. If you can do this for me, you're done. And believe it or not, I could immediately sense it, because that night I could not sleep because I was going through this. Imagine all those innocuous people standing there, taking a big decision, and what an impact on even the person who's going to die. I mean, so many things went through our mind. So when we came back, we said, okay, we will do something. And thanks to one of the greatest legends whom I worked with, it's a real honor, Mr. Ratan Tata himself and Venkat, and all the board of trustees, all of them were very, very willing to take up this, because in 1942, we had set up the TMH, and we also did the Calcutta hospital. So, but the only issue was they wanted it in Varanasi, because the Honorable Prime Minister, it was in the year 2018. So 2018, April 14, 2018, we got the orders. Prior to that, we actually did a very small scale project. We did it, basically there was an Indian Railway Cancer Institute there in Varanasi, we actually went and renovated it into a pediatric, a cancer hospital, and we called it the Homi Baba Cancer Hospital. It had roughly about 178 beds, and we did it in a span of about 1.5 months, the refurbishment. So they were excited. They said, boss, these are the guys who should do it for us. So we quickly, Ratanji himself gave a commitment to the Honorable Prime Minister, because Varanasi was the Prime Minister's constituency. He was standing for the elections. So on April 14, 2018, we signed it. So it was a tripartite agreement. The Tata Memorial Hospital, Tata Trust, and the BHU, the Banaras Hindu University, actually gave us the land. And it was simple that we have one of the state of its kind hospital in Varanasi. Varanasi, as you know, is in Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh is a lovely state. I have nothing more to say. But you can understand, if you have to get things moving in Uttar Pradesh, and that too, especially from a person who is supposed to monitor it from the remote state of Tamil Nadu, you can please understand. And my Hindi is not that good, but I still took it up as an onus and said, Chief, I will take it up. So it was an honor for me to do it. And usually the PMO sits in Delhi. For this, there was a specific PMO, the Prime Minister's office, which was a one-man show, which was headed by Mr. Ranjan Dwivedi, who was the head of the IPS, the head of the police for the entire UP. He became the PMO for that, taking weekly updates on what we were doing. And then the work started. And you will not believe the best part of my life, where I thought, so when it was given, they said, boss, you will have to do it in 1 year's time. Can you do it in 1 year's time? Because next March is the election, you'll have to complete it. We have already announced. I said, fantastic, it's Varanasi, we will do it. So when I came and I sat in the first meeting, I said, boss, how big is the hospital? Because Homi Baba, I thought, is some construction where you just have to do a little bit of tinkering. 1.5 months, 2 months, I'll complete it and move. So they said, Chief, it's nothing. It's about only about 5,86,000 square feet. I said, what? Is it the whole area? No, it is the built-up area of this hospital. So I just looked around and said, boss, 5,86,000 square feet hospital, you are expecting in 1 year. So then, it hits you, right? What have you told? What have you given a commitment? You have gone ahead and given a commitment to your boss. You have gone ahead, and who has in turn given a commitment to the Honorable Prime Minister of India, saying that it will be done. And then, one joker called Harish is there in somewhere in the picture, also like a joker saying, boss, we will do it. And then coming back and realizing, what is this? 5,86,000. I have constructed a house, which is which is about 6,000 or 5,000 square feet. I've taken 3 years to do it. What are they talking? This is some 100 times, boss. What is this? And what do I don't understand the civil language, because my sister and my brother-in-law are the architects and I don't understand anything. So what am I going to do? But yes, I want to do something. So I decided that day that I will be jolly at every moment, because only a fool can be jolly, right? Once you know that this is beyond you, after that there is a smile, right? See, you smile only 2 times. Once when you realize, boss, you can do this, then you say, yes, man, I can do it. Then that smile is different. Then, boss, whatever you say, I don't understand at all. I'll be jolly. So the moment of truth is, so this was the second jolly. Okay, not the first jolly, where is that, that sense of thing. But this was the second jolly when I said, yes, Chief, we will do it. And then, but by being jolly, all my life, I can share this with you. All my life, I've always, whenever there was a heavy decision, even when I used to work with His Highness, in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi, I always used to take decisions through these 2 fingers. Not that it's a great way of decision, but at least I'm able to sleep and I'm able to tell that there is some unforeseen which is taking the action. So I said, will I be able to do it that day? And I asked, a person, boss, can you pick up yes or no? That said yes. Oh, which means, okay, the whole nature, the whole God, something above me is telling me that I'm capable of doing it. So that I was really jolly. So the first thing, when you're wedded to a purpose, be jolly, because the purpose has chosen you. You're not chosen the purpose. So the purpose will know how to get it done through you. So be jolly. Second, I realized at that point of time, I was too small given the task, which means you definitely need a team to do it. If you think you are a superstar, boss, Rajinikanth also needs a Lata Rajinikanth at home. He may need a few comedians on the screen. He may need a heroine. He may need a light boy. After that, there is a superstar. So, of course, I'm a fan of superstars. Sorry to also include him here. Okay. So, you have to have the teamwork. And when you are having the teamwork, there is again two approaches to a teamwork, where you think you are leading the team because everybody looks at you, where team actually shows you the path. You have to strike a balance when you are wedded to a purpose, because everybody has got a different wavelength when they look at the project. But every time I made a point and I told them, don't look at what is this now, look at the end beneficiary. Look at that person who is coming all the way from Assam. Look at him traveling here. Look at that Varanasi incident where there is 100 per lakh in the urban, where there are 65,000 registrations in a TMH. Can we at least take about 30,000 here at Varanasi? Imagine the people getting mouth cancers. Can we take care of all these people? Immediately the team gets activated. And believe me, Chief, the people who were there, we were there. I'll just give you an example of a teamwork. Okay. Usually what happens is, when we sat with about 34 of our vendors that night, we had a 8-hour meeting, a marathon meeting. All the top guys like Rahul Katyal, I called him from Capacity, Edifice Manoj came in, Superman came in from the other one. So, all these people came in, 34 of our vendors. Plus we had about 60 people, all this. All of them sitting out there, and, we closed the door and said, boss, let's come out with a solution. Brilliant solutions came in because you have a selfless purpose, right? Your purpose is not to serve yourself. His purpose is beyond, to do service like others. So automatically, when you become higher, automatically nature helps you. Each one came up with a solution. For example, it was not a brick and mortar structure. It was completely a dry composite. I learned that dry composite. So it was a click and a thing. No? So the building could come up with, let's say, about 2 months, 3 months of huge building. Prashant, of course, has got the photograph and, the thing out there. He can show you how big it is. But, it just came up just like that. It was like, like how these Lego blocks were there. It was like that out there. So they came out with that plan. So the team came out with that. The other team came out and said, boss, we will do simultaneously at 8 areas, whatever we needed for that place, including the windows, the doors, and all those. So we were actually, about 3 years work was happening in the same, simultaneously. So there was a lot of work which was taken away from the workplace and which was simultaneously happening. And believe me, Chief, the budget which we got was about 580 crores, and we actually completed in 380 crores. So if somebody is thinking, your treasurer, or the secretary of the Rotary Club is thinking that we have surpassed our thing, sorry, Chief, we have done it absolutely within. In fact, we have saved about 140. Now I can see Vinod John smiling. I know he's going to use it against the treasurer. Okay, hats off to you. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, when the team also is ignited, help will come automatically. And that's probably when I read the book Secret, I completely agree with it, because the nature actually also helps you out there. So that's a brilliant teamwork. Second, usually the 3 people don't talk to each other. The electrical fellow doesn't talk, the civil fellow doesn't talk. You will not believe, in a single room, the electrical fellow will complete it. He will move, the civil work fellow will come. Immediately it will be followed by the material guy. So all 3 of them you can see. So between them they gelled. 4,000 people never took a single holiday. Never took a single holiday. That is the brilliance of the team. Everybody were passionate. So night when we used to go there, the moment we used to stay there, we have celebrated Ramadan together. We have celebrated, the Christmas there together. We have celebrated Har Mahadev used to be there every day. So it used to be a celebration of the family. So that used to be the teamwork out there. So that's the third thing which the second thing which I wanted to say was the teamwork. And then after some time, what happens is you start connecting to people genuinely. After some time, the purpose takes over, right? So you're very genuine. What we could see is the genuineness. And for example, I will give you out there. Once we completed the entire project, which happened, suddenly, that when we were talking with Ratanji came out with a very brilliant idea. He says, why not you give for the first time in India, or probably even in the world, why don't you celebrate with everybody this achievement? So we called it an Abar festival, where we said we are grateful to all the workers. We called all the 3,000 workers. So we said 2 people have to be invited, the mother and the wife. I mean, both at the same time. So you can understand how difficult it would have been to manage, but we still managed. Okay. So we called all the workers' wife as well as the mother, got them together in Varanasi. So we called the magistrate, we called, the Honorable Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath was very, very sweet. He said, boss, the complete city is yours. The Mishra ji, who was the chief priest at Varanasi, he said, this is yours. The magistrate was available, collector, everybody, all the buses. We built up a beautiful camp for 3 days. We hosted them. We hosted events for them. And on the last day, every mother, every wife was given a beautiful certificate, a beautiful medal to actually give it to every worker. All the MDs of all the 34, including all the senior management, all of us, we all prostrated to them and said, thank you for what you did for us. And we gave them a beautiful Kashi Kavach card where we said, for your lifetime, for your family, and for your dependents, wherever you go to Tata Trust, hospital, all the hospitals, we will take care of all your medical expenses in case of cancer. So this is, and I could see people crying, by the time we built this over period, we could know each and single person. I know a Raju who literally was tears. The parents were in tears. So it was such a beautiful, so it was a genuine connect. And imagine the vibrations all these guys give you when they do it with so much of love, because it's not only you. When you're wedded to a purpose, when you're selfless, you spread this beautiful thing around you. It is so contagious. Let me tell you, it is so contagious. If people tell, for some of us who think that alcohol is great, boss, please try this. Get wedded to a purpose. You'll see how addictive this is, how beautiful this is, and what a kick it gives you. Prashant is smiling. I got it. Okay. Okay. Then the other thing also which I saw was that somewhere within you, you always believe that, there is something within you which is operating and it is connecting with the outside. So you start believing in miracles. For example, imagine about 4,000 people, 5,000 people are working. Boss, can I tell you one small thing? That is where this beautiful outside, the nature helps you. There was not a single case of any accident. Can you beat it? Not even one mishap. The maximum fall I would have had is me. I fell down because of my weight. I cannot help it. Okay. So that was as simple as that. And I probably needed it too. So I had a fall. Okay. So well deserved. But not even one accident. Imagine 3 night shifts. 4,000, 5,000 people working, dedicated with unanimously their thoughts, their body, their souls, their sweat, their, everything into that purpose. And then there is not even a single accident. You call it a miracle, you call it God's grace, you call it that unscheduled ingredient or luck or whatever you want to call it. But then the nature is there with you, Chief. The nature helps you when you're wedded to a purpose. It pulls you back. It makes others committed. And people think, so whenever they said, sir, everything will happen. So when I used to ask them, boss, ho jayega kya? Sir, kya baat kar rahe? Ho jayega, sir, don't worry. So sometimes people start believing in miracles. It's not only you. So it's a very beautiful journey where everybody gets onto the bandwagon. You can call it miracle, you can call it anything I said, but then people start believing that impossible. So the word no will never come. Sir, kal ho jayega kya? Sir, ho jayega, sir, don't worry. I will not go into the details of kaise ho jayega, how it will, but it will happen. Huh? That's where the beauty is. I'm just giving you a few instances because of the telescope for the time frame. So please understand, and the joy, again, the joy which you get out of that. Every day is a celebration. Huh? Every day is a celebration. So with all these things, when we were doing it out there, this beautiful thing, the Honorable Prime Minister gave its name. So it was just called a hospital. We have not called it. He says it is Mahamana Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya Cancer Center, because he was one of the leading person. The Madan Mohan Malviya was a very great person in the Varanasi context. In fact, the BHU, they have a beautiful, in fact, I have a bust of him in my place out there. So on April 14, this was done, Chief. In 10 months flat, the miracle happened. We had the Abar Utsav on February 8, 2019. Can you beat it? In this mission mode, we have come up in 10 months, a record by any philanthropic organization in India. And boss, we are spread over an area of 5.86 lakh square feet, housing some 13 operation centers, 6 linear accelerators, 6 CT scanners, MRI, 44 outpatient departments. All this just in 10 months flat. The Prime Minister said, I will not inaugurate it until the patients come. So when the patients registration started on 14th, I think 13th or 14th of February, this got inaugurated by the Prime Minister. And I think Prashant has got a video of the Prime Minister coming to us. In fact, I could see the joy on our Honorable Prime Minister's face when he saw it. Because see, he's also a selfless man. When we could see it, you could feel that, yes, genuinely, this is what he meant. Because he says, I don't want simply a shosha by you guys inaugurating an hospital. No, he wanted patients. So he asked for registrations. And at the end of the day, there was that happiness again with all of us. So that Abar Utsav happened. And again, I just want to give, this is the last incident I will say again, another miracle. On the day when when Ratanji came out there and all the board of trustees came, we had a beautiful event. And somehow inside us, we said, I took that decision saying, we will not have the inauguration. This was before even the Honorable Prime Minister came, because that was an official one. This was when it was Mr. Ratanji and all the vendors that were handing over to us. We said, like there was this, I'm not getting this guy, what is it? Okay. Where he used to have this, this beautiful places where you will have the Yani, where you used to have it outside, right? So like that, we said we should have the event with the entire hospital as the background and we outside. And believe me, Chief, that was a rain that day. Somehow I took this decision saying we have to do it. I used my decision algorithm, right? Yes or no by this. And then I took the decision, yes. And the rain was there continuous till 3 o'clock. So somebody came and asked me, boss, the rain is there, boss is coming, and all the board of trustees. And fortunately for us, we have a very young, very young, young in mind, but unfortunately numbers are more in terms of their physical age. So that club of board of trustees had come there. So we made sure that we gave them shawls and umbrellas. But believe me, Chief, when we went in the open, we actually about 60 of us, we stood there in front of Madan Mohan thing, and all of us cried. I'm seriously telling you this. We said, boss, we have a wonderful event. We have cried, we have done. All these vendors have come. Can you please shut your rain for some time for us? Can you please hold on? You call it prayer, you call it miracle. I'm just telling you this event. There are people were there. It just stopped. The rain just stopped. So we actually made an announcement. The rain has taken a break. Please enjoy your event. And Chief, when we finally had, we had a surprise for them. So we got all the people who are doing the Ganga Aarti to actually come on to the hospital thing. Each of them will stand in one thing and they will actually do the Aarti. So when they do the Ganga Aarti, they were doing it. So we had a lady, a girl dressed as Ganga onto a thing which she will go up like this. So when she was going, we said, Ganga is very happy. So please take care. It may rain now. We just told it out of fun. Was lo and behold, it just rained. It just poured. And none of the trustees said, this is a blessing for us. We will stay there in the rain. And believe me, thankfully, nobody got sick. Because after that, my job would have been at stake, right? So this is the kind of a kind of a passion when you're wedded to a purpose. And the last but not the least, when everything got over, when all this got inaugurated, when people were very, very happy, the most important thing when you're wedded to a purpose, when you know that your utility to the purpose is finished, don't linger around. That's a big advice which I want to give, because then sometimes you can get attached to it. Sometimes you just feel when you look at that hospital, boss, Arey, main hu idhar, main hu Don, that Don feeling, you've seen that Don. Just get detached. So to be very frank, I have never gone to that hospital once I've come out. I've gone to Varanasi, but I've never visited both the hospitals again. Because I know when I visited, there can be this temptation saying, hey, Harish, man, you have been a part of this. No, I am nothing. I'm zero. Please remember when you go back, I'm the joker who actually said without knowing anything, was a possible. So God gives you the purpose, enjoy the purpose, be wedded to the purpose, be committed, fall in love, be jolly, be happy. But at the final end, be detached, know when to leave this project and just let the board. Today, I just keep giving because, we have a group where it keeps giving how many people are benefited from this. You are actually thankful to God that you are one small ant which has given that little thing out there. So with this saying, I thank all of you for a patient hearing. I hope I've managed to maintain the time, and it's been a real pleasure and honor to share a few of my deepest experiences to a very excellent audience and a very honorable audience. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Harish. Absolutely fantastic. Honestly, such an energetic talk. I mean, all your passion came out. I mean, I can imagine the passion that you had when you're doing this work must have been really, really fulfilling doing all those wonderful things. Thanks for all those great anecdotes and situations that you brought through. Wonderful. Now open out the floor for a few questions, please. We have Sudhakar who's already put up his hand. Sudhakar.
Yeah, that was very, very invigorating, Dr. Harish. Just a thought, we are more than 100 plus Rotary clubs in Bangalore. And all of us are doing a lot of good things, but all in a very small scale. Would you recommend that the district, as it's called, which has all these clubs under them, would be better served if they take up one or two major projects where all the other small Rotary clubs combine together and work towards it rather than take up all these chota projects? What would be your way out for this?
Dr. Sir, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Very, very, very nice question. And just my thoughts on it. Of course, you are all seasoned in this, but my thoughts on it. See, the very fact that, yes, of course, in every project we look at, we have to look at three things. We have to look at one is scalability, one is replicability, whether we can replicate it, and the third is its relevance. What you are asking me is in terms of the scalability, because once you get all of them together, which means you get a lot of resource together. But whether that would be the best in terms of a project, because you're going to get scalability, would that create an impact? It depends on the project. But I will give you a simple formula which I used to use. Okay, whether it is a bigger project or a smaller project doesn't matter. But this is just my viewpoint. I used to call it repass. In my mind, it is repass. So that's why I remember it. So the first thing is, I'll say relevance. What is the degree to which your project, whatever it is, whether it is going to be done together, whether it is going to be done apart from everybody, what is the degree to which your project is matching to the needs of the beneficiary? So keep the beneficiaries in mind. So the question you have to ask is, if the beneficiaries are more, then you may need this coalition. Got it, Chief? Second, impact. If you're going to have, this project is going to have a better impact on the beneficiaries on the larger segment, then you can go in for this together. The third is effectiveness. The degree to which the objectives of your project will contribute to the achievement of the project. That is an effectiveness. And closely associated with the fourth point is the efficiency. That is the estimated quantity, quality, availability of means, resources. So this will decide whether you want to get it collated or you want to do it on your own. So for example, you will see what is the presumed cost effectiveness of this proposed project in transforming the means into results. That's the efficiency factor. The fifth factor is the policies. How does it policy? Do you need to collaborate even the foreign one if you have to go to a foreign land, or do you need to structure it differently? You have to take that cognizance of the local policy and the compatibility. So that's one more point. The last, the sixth point is sustainability. Sustainability means in case you need to do a coalition. So for example, we bring all of our associates together. If you have to do, for example, we did the project of the railway stations were enabled Wi-Fi, right? All the railway stations, right? So the government had called us up, and the honorable railway minister had come up there, and we did a few ministers. But then one of the issues where we had is the sustainability. we will do it for some time. We will do it for a year. After that, what? Will the government be able to do it? So the likelihood of your project, so it should be whether it is economically and financially sound. So that's one of the things out there, and it creates a positive impact. The last one is the assumptions and the risk. If the risks are very high in all the teams getting together and doing a project, don't do it. So please have your assumptions. So I think the debate here would be in all these points. So that's a viewpoint which I hold. I hope I've been able to answer Sudhakarji.
Thank you, Harish. Other questions, please? Anybody else?
Is okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Venkat, you want to talk?
Venkat, every question will be answered. Huh?
I know, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
okay.
I am so flummoxed. Actually, your passion, I think, is mind blowing. I had a question around. We look at very small projects. Like you said, we look at its effectiveness, its actual. Is it the need of the hour? Do the beneficiaries need it? We look at that. My question was, is it good to have a lot of small projects? Because I think that creates more impact than having one very large project. I think my question is almost a corollary to what Sudhakar asked, and you partly answered it. But we take up very small projects. Should we continue that? Continue doing that? That was my question. Actually,
Venkatji, see, understand the beauty of what you're doing. We have one visitor here. Tarzan is my pet. Will you give me another 5 minutes, baby? I'll give you the treat. Okay. He controls me out here. Okay, so to answer you, Venkat, also, as a part of what Sudhakar Mr. Sudhakar was also asking about. See, how many of you are there? All of you have got certain things. Like if tomorrow I say, Mr. Mohan, please let's not do this golf project. Mohan is going to look at the oh God, look at all these books behind. He's going to take us a few books and say, boss, he's going to throw us a few books because he's so passionate about it. So each one of you is going to be passionate. And that's the beauty of a Rotary Club, right? Because all of you have all of you are coming from a beautiful background. All of you have got a lot of spirit in you. You've got the passion. You've got that commitment. And all of you are really committed because imagine away from your business life, you want to do something really good, which means you've got passion. Now, if I were to tell you, no, curb your passion, please don't do it, I think I would be very stupid. And believe it or not, Chief, anything which started small is oceans today. Boss, let us talk about even corporate. Your Facebook today has become Meta, but it was not Meta, it was micro. Okay, when it started. Okay, your Infosys was started in a thing. So for me, a project, and India needs small, big, no project. For example, Mr. Mehta is taking care of the Jaipur Foods. Okay, he was one of our board of trustees. So I was the chief guest for one of his occasions. When I went there, he says, Harish, I just started this Jaipur food with just a small thing, thinking that I'll put a wooden thing out there to just make a person who has got that amputated leg to walk. Today, Jaipur legs is not only here. We went to Philippines there to inaugurate something out there. We went to so many developing nations. It has now become a rage. It's becoming something. So never underestimate the power of what your insight can do. So if you feel strongly, that's what the whole purpose is. Don't worry, it's a big or small. How can you say it's a big or small, Chief? If a beneficiary, if you can give a life to a person, boss, one life is small or big, please. Let's tell me. I survived a COVID right now. I should have been in a packet by now and gone, but I've survived a COVID. So if somebody comes and tells me, boss, iska to khatam karo, what will I do? So the question is inside. The question is for you to answer. So don't worry, even if it is not able to do it, you somehow talk to Vinod John, I know, in his house and say, boss, mera ye project karo. Because that's the passion. Passion will take you anywhere. So to answer even, from Venkat's or Mr. Sudhakar, it's not about, for me, there is nothing called big or small. It is what your intention to do it and what is your beneficiary. Of course, you can have your evaluation metrics. You can have your, so many other parameters. But boss, do it, boss. There is the beneficiary, right? It's not you, right? It's not you, right? It's not your family, right? It's somebody else. Please do it, Chief. This is my answer.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I hope I've been able to answer.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Sushila, you had a question.
Yeah, I was really, I must say, intrigued about the way in which you managed to rally so many disparate people from very, very different backgrounds, bring them all together, give them a common purpose and, commitment, and build commitment in them towards that purpose. And this is something that we all struggle with in all the organizations that we work in, all kinds of situations. Would you be able to talk a little bit about the how? How do you make that happen?
Coming from the assistant governor, I can always understand that you want that secret mantra how to manage people.
Absolutely.
Okay, Chief, there is no shortcut in man management. I have not told you the myriad stories of how many altercations were there, because whenever you want to do, please understand, whenever you want to do good, there are 4 people. See, I always used to say this. If somebody smiles too much, I say, boss, how many people are not smiling because of this smile? Because that's the beauty of our life. But believe me, Dr. Shushila, whenever we take up an activity for not ourselves, believe me, the other smiles become genuine. So you have to win their hearts. But the secret there is you become zero there. So many places, I'm a very egoistic man, let me tell you. I'm very, very egoistic. I would have hurt so many people, but let me tell you, for this project, because you're wedded to the purpose, right? You remember now the wedding vows I gave you? Not to you, I spoke about, right? The wedding vows, 7 vows. I tried to remind Mr. Vinod John also after the Stephens thing, right? What do you say all those? In rich, in poor, and all those. You have to keep reminded of that. So whenever you have a problem at home, you all patch up, right? So that when you're wedded to a purpose, everything else blinds up. For example, let me tell you, I'll just give you one more instance, a small instance. In UP, the winters are bad. It's very bad, okay? Now, when I'm saying that all of them have to do 3 shifts, there was one group, I don't want to mention them. They came back and said, boss, our workers don't want to work. I said, the workers don't want to work? Because I am talking to the workers every day. I know them by name. I know their families. I know their mobile numbers. I can go around. I can talk to them, right? So some joker came up to me, their GM, and all said, boss, we cannot do it. They were looking at some things. So I went. Next day, I called all the workers and said, boss, is there anything like this? They said, Harish ji, aapko pata hai. So then I went to them and I said, boss, what is it that you want? They want some escalations. I said, see, escalations, we will handle it separately. Now you have gone and told something. Now what are we going to do for the workers? So I went back. I spoke to one more organization there, and believe it or not, for all those for them to work out there, we gave them eggs. Personally, we went and served them so that they got that protein out there. Such a simple task. We'd have to do it from something else, which again, I'm talking, it's allocation between the resources. Somebody's ego was hit. After that, we went personally to that person's house and we told him, boss, it is hamare liye nahi hai, it is only for your people. It took some half an hour time. It took my half an hour of my ego massage. My ego was hit. Oh, Harish, you thought you're big, Then I became, because it's all about internal conflict, right? It is first I have to become cool. And believe it, Dr. Shushila, the person agreed. Next day onwards, he started serving the thing out there. So I'm just telling you one small incident which comes to me. I can tell you so many things where people walked out. People said they will not do it. People, so many things will happen. Even within the board trustees, they will not agree. So you have to do it. There is no shortcut. But yes, one secret is what? I told you that nature is with you. You are genuine and be detached to whatever you're doing. No ego. Be jolly. When I said be jolly, boss, you are smiling now, right? Somebody is pinching you down also, you have to smile. That's be jolly. Not be jolly means every time. For example, Prem has just come back from US. He has given something to US. I'm very happy that he has left that back and come back. Today he is smiling. So I'm sure during COVID, there must have been a little pain in him. But believe me, Chief, you still have to smile. That's the whole beauty of it. I hope I have not answered your question, but at least I have given you a direction. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Harish. Thank you so much. I guess we don't have too much time. We need to close the meeting. So, Sushila, for asking the best question of the day, may I ask you to request you to propose the vote of thanks, please?
Oh, is this the punishment given to people? So you discourage good questions. Thank you.
Sushila, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Harish, that was, I think, a wonderful, wonderful session. I think every one of us enjoyed it completely. And I think all of us are very, very energized at the end of this session. A few things that I could take away from the session. First is that all of us who work for society or for a social cause, we're all very fortunate that we can commit ourselves to serving others in the community. Obviously, we have a purpose that is larger than ourselves, and a purpose that is larger than ourselves is what is going to energize us and really that is what will give us the smile that we can carry with us at all times. And you called it be jolly. The way you describe the story, the heartrending story of the cancer case in Assam, really was very touching for me, and particularly because I work in the area of disease prevention. So for me, really understand, and the story really came, hit me very hard about how a family that is faced with something like a cancer can just get pushed further down into poverty and desperation on top of that. So, I think really enjoyed all your anecdotes, all of the stories, and the way you put them really all came together for me. A few other things that you talked about: you need a team, and the team needs to be energized. And we talked a bit about how you can give them a purpose that is larger than any one of them individually, and how nature conspires to make sure that when you have a large purpose, it actually does get realized. And when people connect with a genuineness, and it is very contagious. And you also, I think, mentioned that it can be more addictive than alcohol. And your belief in miracles. Basically, it's amazing, this whole story of just rallying around 4,000 or more people, more than 4,000 people, bringing them together, getting them to serve with a smile, and actually land that project in a very, very amazingly short time is something that is completely, hats off to you. One other thing that came out to me is nothing is impossible. And here in India, we believe that, oh, we really can't do this. But what you've shown is that India can achieve absolutely anything. So thank you very, very much for that inspiring session. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sushila. Thank you, Dr. Harish. So many takeaways for us from this meeting. Much appreciate on behalf of Rotary Pailu Cantonment, our gratitude for having spent time with us. Thank you for being with us. And thank you all Rotarians and ANs who are here. Looking forward to seeing you in person next Thursday. Good night, and I adjourn this meeting.